Hmm. Good morning, and welcome to day 3 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. I want to thank you for joining me. What the purpose of this challenge is to focus on your mind, your body, and your soul. And specifically, we're going to be doing exercises related to each of those 3 parts. So the premise is that we are one, but we're made up of 3 parts. Again, your mind, your body, and your soul. And so we're going to find exercises for your mind, which is going to be reading our book. We're going to do one for the body, which we're going to be doing the yoga. And then we're going to be doing one for the soul, which is meditation. So I want to take the time to thank you, those of you that have been joining me for the 3 days, or if this is your first time joining in, welcome, welcome. Again, my name is Pia McAdams, and I'm here to facilitate this challenge for you. All right, so with the mind portion, we are reading Psycho-Cybernetics, which is a book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And this is based upon the premise that we have an internal guidance system and is controlled by our self-image. So what we've learned so far is that all of our actions, our feelings, our behaviors, even our abilities are consistent with the self-image. And what the self-image is a mental picture that we hold deep inside of us. And it comes from experiences from the past, both good and bad, normal or abnormal, whatever that means for you, left or right. And it stems all the way back to your childhood. Okay, so whatever that mental picture is, this actually explains why it may be hard for you to reach some of the goals that you have. Like, for instance, let's say that you want to lose weight, or you may have some financial goals. Hey, some of you, it's hard for you to even get out of the bed in the morning. Okay, so it's hard for you to even start your day. Well, it's because of that mental image that you have of yourself. So that's what we're learning about. And then we also learned yesterday that the self-image can be changed. So I'm excited to get into the reading to see what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're still in the first chapter, but now we're reading under a different heading. I'm kind of skipping around. I'm not reading you verbatim from the book, because I actually want you to purchase it because this is a really good book. But the portion that we're going to be reading today is a new scientific insights into our subconscious mind. Okay, let's see what's going on. The video is paused. Okay, now we're back. All right, and again, if you're joining me live, I really appreciate seeing you on. And also for those of you watching the recording, I'm equally as pleased as well. Okay, so we're getting to the new scientific insights into the subconscious mind. So it says that the new science of cybernetics has furnished us with convincing proof that the so-called subconscious mind is not a mind at all, but a mechanism, a goal-striving servo mechanism consisting of the brain and nervous system, which is used by and directed by the mind. The latest and most usable concept is that man does not have 2 minds, but a mind or consciousness that operates on automatic goal-striving machine. This automatic goal-striving machine functions very similarly to the way that electronic servo mechanisms function as far as basic principles are concerned, but is much more marvelous, much more complex than any other computer or guided missile ever conceived by man. So it says, today it's easy to lose sight of the fact that all electronic gadgets and computerized technologies of any sort, from the internet to the cell phone technologies or satellites bringing us hundreds of channels on television, were programmed and made functional by human beings who formed a mental picture of something they thought was possible and then made it happen. Since we human beings not only have the capacity to create cybernetic systems outside of ourselves, but also the ability to learn how we can run our own cybernetic systems within ourselves. This creative mechanism within you is impersonal. It will work automatically and impersonally to achieve goals of success and happiness or unhappiness and failure, depending on the goals that you set for it. Present it with success goals, and it functions as a success mechanism. Present it with negative goals and operate just as impersonally and just as faithfully as a failure mechanism. Says Dr. Maltz, make it clear that all of us have goals, whether we intentionally articulate them or not. The brain and nervous system are continually leading us in the direction of the images we think about consciously, or images that are so much a part of us that we're led toward them on autopilot. The alcoholic or drug addict has goals just as much as the entrepreneur, the politician, the professional athlete, or the mother-to-be. So with this in mind, we can become aware of what's under the hood and whether or not we want the goals we're unconsciously moving toward or the ones that we consciously choose and work toward. Now, like any other servo mechanism, it must have a clear-cut goal, objective, or problem to work on. The key goal is our self-image. Our self-image prescribes the limits for the accomplishment of any particular goal. It prescribes the area of the possible. Like any other servo mechanism, our creative mechanism works on information and data that we feed into it, which is our thoughts, our beliefs, and our interpretations. Through our attitudes and interpretations of situations, we describe the problem to be worked on. If we feed information and data into our creative mechanism to effect that we ourselves are unworthy, inferior, undeserving, incapable, which are negative self-images, this data is processed and acted on as if any other data and giving us the answer in the form of objective experience. Like any other servo mechanism, our creative mechanism makes use of stored information or memory in solving current problems and responding to current situations. Says your program for getting more living out of life consists, first of all, learning something about this creative mechanism or automatic guiding system within you and how to use it as a success mechanism rather than as a failure mechanism. The method itself consists of learning, practicing, and experiencing new habits of thinking, imagining, remembering, and acting in order to, 1, develop an adequate and realistic self-image, and 2, use your creative mechanism to bring success and happiness in achieving particular goals. If you can remember, worry, or tie your shoe, you can succeed. All right, so that's a good starting point. So again, this is the mind portion, and we're learning about our cycle mechanism and how we can help us, or how it can help us to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Okay, let's move on to the next portion, which is going to be the yoga. We got some transition going on here. All right. Walking down the hall. Okay, that wasn't good. I just kind of dropped the bottle here, the glass. Oh, let me pick it up. Sorry about this, guys. I forgot my computer's still plugged up. Worry about that later. Sorry if that was really loud in noise. All right, so again, I want to thank you for those of you that this is your first time joining me. We're moving on to our body portion of the exercise, which is going to be the yoga. And then we're going to immediately go into the soul portion, which is going to be some deep breathing. Okay, hold on. You know what? I just forgot something. I got to go back. Sorry, guys. And by the way, if you're joining in and you come in within like the first 5 minutes or so, then you're going to be getting the mind exercise. And then we always immediately go into the body exercise and then the soul. So if you're wondering, like if you come in while I'm doing yoga, it is my hope that you're not just watching me, but I want you to actually do the practice. Hi, good morning, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are, okay? So please don't just sit here and watch me do it. I want you to do it with me because this is helping to transform your life as well. And I want you to see that just 5 minutes a day on each of these parts, the mind, body, and the soul, can make a big difference in your life. Just 5 minutes, okay? and namaste. Now we move on to the mind portion. This is going to be meditation. I know for a lot of us, it seems kind of challenging to sit in silence for 5 minutes. But again, it is a practice, so just be patient with yourself. And just remember, thoughts will come into your mind. Just gently dismiss them and focus on your breathing. We're going to be inhaling for a count of 1, exhaling for a count of 2. Just where you are, get into a comfortable position, so whether you're sitting down, like I am on the mat, on your sits bones, not the fleshy part of your body, or if you're sitting at your office chair, just kind of relax in the chair, press the shoulders down, get a nice deep breath, and then exhale to clear your mind, and lightly touch my thumb and index finger. My body's nice and relaxed, and we're getting started. Release, relax, and return fresh and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. That concludes day 3 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes challenge. So I'd like to hear from you and kind of tell me in the comments what has been your experience so far, even if this is your first day joining me. Tell me what it is like for the mind exercise, the body, and then also for the soul. Try to reconnect here. Okay, I'm back. All right, so again, I want to thank you all for joining me, whether you're joining me live or watching the recording. It is my hope that you have a blessed day. See you tomorrow.